Every morning, most people wake up with a sense of emptiness as if their day has already lost its value before their feet ever touch the floor. They're not waiting for a miracle. They're not searching for new meaning. They're just doing the bare minimum to get through another day without any losses. If you look closely, you'll see it, the classic trap of comfort. It's a cage where you play both the warden and the prisoner. Life becomes a replay of the same tired script, where every attempt to change ends with the old excuse, "I'll wait a little longer. Now's not the time." And without realizing it, year after year, your hunger for change fades, your ambitions dissolve into easy justifications, and your true self becomes nothing but a shadow. Here's where the deepest pain sets in. You're alive, but you're not really living. All you do is maintain your old habits, like watering weeds in a field where your dreams could be growing. Why does this happen? Because comfort isn't safety, it's stagnation. It's a clever illusion that convinces you it's safer to stand still than to try something new and risk failure. But the real danger isn't the pain you might avoid. It's agreeing to a life without joy, without victories, without growth. If you haven't realized how risky that is, stop right now. Take a good, honest look at yourself. Is your life today something you'd be proud of tomorrow? The pain you feel when you break another promise to yourself, that's not punishment. That's a signal. It's a wake-up call, a push to break out of the loop where your days exist just to serve the same old rituals. If you really want to break your limits, you have to feel the sharpness of your own dissatisfaction first. Only the person who admits, "Yes, I'm stuck. I've lost my taste for life," can find the strength to take action. Because only a face-to-face encounter with your own truth becomes the first step to growth. Don't fear that pain. It's not your enemy, it's your ally. This is where the journey to new habits and real transformation begins. The first time you confront the idea of changing your routine, it feels either way too simple to work or so difficult it can't possibly happen in real life. Your mind fights back, making excuses, rationalizing, delaying. That's where the most cunning resistance is born. The inner voice that whispers, "Now isn't the right time. You're not ready yet. You just need a little more willpower, a little more inspiration." Days, weeks, and years slip by. You become an expert at postponing your own future. The paradox: change never happens when you feel ready. It happens the moment you take that first step despite the resistance. That's the real secret of growth. Action is always a choice and always a risk. Even the smallest move forward disturbs the comfort of your old reality, and your mind is hardwired to resist anything unpredictable. That's why your pain is a normal part of change. It's the pain of stretching, the pain of breaking from the past, the pain of beginning something new. Ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? Failing? Being laughed at? Feeling uncomfortable for a while? Most fears are just phantoms. They vanish when you move into action. The person who takes action has a shot at changing everything. The one who hesitates is doomed to stay in the same place as yesterday. If you feel resistance today, if you feel discomfort, if laziness pulls at you, this is the sign you're right at the edge of your comfort zone. And this is where true growth begins. In that moment, you face a real choice: turn back, or take your first step forward. There's no magic formula, no guaranteed success. All you have is the willingness to act, despite your fears, your doubts, your habit of putting things off. You can start small. Wake up 15 minutes earlier, go for a run, write a few lines in your journal. The key is just to make that first move and not look back for excuses. Every change begins with pain, but it ends with freedom. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you'll see real results. Power doesn't come from perfect conditions. It comes from the courage to act when you're scared, when it's tough, when you're tired, and when the world around you screams, "Why even bother?" Remember this: it's in those moments that your new self is born, strong, focused, and free from the chains of old habits. The next level of battling your own limits begins when your new habits start to challenge your deepest beliefs about who you are, what you can do, and how the world works. Suddenly, you run into inner sabotage disguised as being realistic, or friendly advice, or even as concern for your health. True transformation always meets resistance, not just inside you, but from your closest circle. People who are used to the old version of you will unconsciously try to pull you back. It makes them more comfortable if you don't change. They see your new routine as a threat to their own stability, even if they'll never say it out loud. Here's another barrier you'll face. You have to be ready to become a stranger to some parts of your past. Not everyone can handle that kind of social pressure. But remember, most great achievements begin in solitude, with the decision to walk your own path, when everyone else stays in their circle of safety. The more loyal you are to your new self, the sooner you'll find others who value growth and progress too. What can you do when you feel resistance from the outside? First, remind yourself why you started. Go back to your main goal, the reason that made you move in the first place. Write it in your journal. Repeat it to yourself every morning. Second, protect your space. Cut down on contact with people who belittle your ambitions. Seek out environments where growth is the norm. Even just a few minutes with true winners can give you the strength you'll never find alone. Third, stop chasing instant approval. Your victory is a process that only time can measure. The urge to show off your results and rack up likes is a trap. The strongest habits are forged in silence, not in noise. Let your real changes speak for you, not loud statements or perfect photos on social media. Give yourself the right to walk your path without an audience. And remember this, even when it feels like nothing's changing, it is. Every small victory over yourself adds up. Every day with your new habit builds your character. That's what real progress is, not some public show, but an inner confidence no one can take away. Finally, once you've survived the first waves of resistance and your new habits are sticking, you'll reach a point of real integration when your routine stops feeling like a burden and starts to feel like part of who you are. But here's the trap. Self-satisfaction, the illusion that now change is permanent, that your habits will run smoothly without you paying attention. This is where most people lose momentum. They see this new level as the finish line, not the start of even bigger growth. Your task now is not to let yourself go dull, not to let your habits become hollow routines. Every action must be a conscious choice. Today I choose to get better, not just check a box. That means every early morning isn't just about sticking to a schedule. It's a declaration of faith in your own path. Every time you say no to an old weakness, it's not self-punishment. It's proof of your freedom. The more intentionally you act, the deeper these changes will take root in your identity. In this period, it's crucial to really feel your progress, to appreciate even the smallest steps forward. Don't wait for dramatic leaps. Habits grow strong in the detail. Keep a personal victory journal. Record the moments when you broke out of an old script, when you chose action over procrastination, when you picked growth over a quick fix. Those daily pause one moments, they become your real currency of strength. One more thing, don't forget to reward yourself. People grow where their victories earn real inner rewards. Learn to thank yourself for your effort without waiting for outside applause. That builds your self-worth and keeps you from falling back into dependence on others' opinions. Every habit that takes root in you is not just a step toward results. It's a sign of your love for your new self. And finally, never stop asking yourself, what's next? What limit can I break tomorrow? Don't get stuck in what you've already achieved. Don't let yourself settle in a new comfort zone. Real growth has no finish line. It's an ongoing process where every habit becomes the launch pad for your next summit. If you want to break through your own limits, you have to start with honesty. Most of your daily decisions aren't made consciously. They're running on autopilot. Old habits steer your life year after year, even when you genuinely want something different. That's why so many choices change nothing. You try, you promise yourself to begin a new path, but somehow you always end up back in the same old script. To break this cycle, you must realize every day starts not with a grand goal, but with the smallest choice. That tiny choice sets your direction. The first step, wake up on purpose. Instead of grabbing your phone or rushing around, start the day with a few moments of silence. Set clear intentions. Write a short note in your journal. This is your new starting line, your first small victory over autopilot. You say to yourself, I choose me, not random moods or outside events. You create conditions for growth instead of handing your day over to chance. Changing your old routine isn't just about adding new actions. It's about cutting out the toxic, comfortable rituals that drain your potential. Maybe it's binge-watching shows instead of planning tomorrow, mindlessly scrolling social media instead of reading or learning, putting off what matters for later. Every minute is a brick in the foundation of your future self. If you choose what's quick and easy now, you'll end up where everyone else who never changed ends up. But when you control even the smallest details, you become a creator, not a consumer of your life. The secret engine of growth is intentional planning, not chaotic reacting. Every night, ask yourself, what will make me better tomorrow than I was today? Write down your answer, even if it's something small. Let that be your contract with yourself. Over time, those tiny steps become huge breakthroughs. Big leaps are born in the small details. Do a little more each day than you did yesterday, and your boundaries will rapidly expand. This is where the real conflict appears. Your past keeps pulling you back. You're used to quitting when things don't work out right away. But real progress starts when, instead of reacting with "I failed again," you choose to analyze and adjust. Don't beat yourself up for a setback. Ask, what caused it? How can I do better tomorrow? This is the mindset of a champion, not avoiding mistakes, but learning from them and turning every failure into the beginning of a new habit. Next, you must build an environment that won't let you fall back into your old patterns. People underestimate just how much their surroundings shape their actions. You can have strong willpower, a clear goal, even a plan. But if you're surrounded by doubt, apathy, endless distractions, or constant excuses, any change will quickly burn out. Your environment either strengthens your new habit or quietly destroys it day after day. Start with an honest review. Who's around you? Do these people support your growth? Or do they make jokes, pull you backward, cheer for your setbacks, tell you it's fine as it is? You don't need to cut ties or pick fights. But it's crucial to limit the influence of anyone who lives by their old script. Seek out people who consider growth and change to be normal, even if you don't see them often. Their example proves you can do more than you thought yesterday. Another piece of a strong environment is your information field. Social media, the news, scrolling through other people's wins, constantly comparing yourself to others. All of this drains your focus, makes you doubt your own path, and steals your energy from true growth. Make it a rule. Spend the least time on other people's stories and the most on your own practice and steps forward. You can't break your own boundaries while you're stuck chasing or trying to impress someone else. Your path is yours alone. No one else gets to set your pace or direction. Create your own anchors of change. A favorite book, a quote, an affirmation, a person you turn to for inspiration, a ritual that reminds you why you started. Transform your home, your workspace, even your phone into a place of support, not temptation. If your daily surroundings remind you of your purpose, old habits can't sneak back in unnoticed. The real breakthrough happens when you're no longer dependent on outside conditions. But when you're building a new habit, those conditions must work for you, not against you. Eventually, growth will become second nature, and your environment will be your shield, not your weakness. This isn't running from the world. It's a conscious decision to guard your energy, your time, and your focus for real change. There's another essential link to building a new routine, the principle of small steps and gradual reinforcement. Most people overestimate the power of motivation and underestimate the force of habit. When inspiration fades, and it always does, the strength of your ritual, your daily actions, even tiny ones, keep you on track. Remember, motivation comes and goes, but habit is an invisible force that makes you move even when you don't feel like it. Start with changes so small they don't scare your mind. If your goal is to run every morning, don't plan for a marathon. Just begin with a few minutes. If you want to read more, set a goal for just 2 pages a day. It may sound trivial, even silly, but those tiny steps break your mind's resistance and lay the foundation for bigger victories. Never underestimate the snowball effect. Every small action is a brick in the mansion of your new identity. The next stage is reinforcement. As soon as a new habit takes root, add the next level of challenge. Already running 5 minutes? Try 10. Used to making daily plans? Add a weekly review. Growth never stops. It slowly becomes the core of who you are. And don't forget to track your progress. Write down what you've managed to change, the results you're seeing, how you feel now compared to yesterday. Don't chase quick changes. The strongest habits grow slowly, step by step. Research proves it. Lasting change isn't about dramatic breakthroughs, but about gradually adopting new patterns of behavior. Resilience is not strict control. It's flexibility and the ability to adapt. If you slip up, don't stop. Don't beat yourself up. Don't abandon your journey. Learn to get back in the game as fast as possible. Real strength is not in being flawless, but in your ability to return to your routine after a setback. That's what makes a true leader. Falling, getting up, never losing faith in your own change, even after the 10th tomorrow. Remember, your goal isn't perfection, it's progress. New habits aren't a competition with anyone else. They're your path to a better you. Every tiny step is another nail in the coffin of old comfort. Another move closer to a big win. Once you've started forming new habits, it's not just about keeping the rhythm. You have to learn to see the meaning in every tiny detail that leads to change. True growth isn't born in big celebrations of achievement. It happens in the daily details that seem trivial at first. Add them up, and they become the real power that changes your reality. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's my goal in starting this new habit? Without a real answer, any ritual becomes just another routine you'll abandon at the first crisis. If your drive to grow isn't anchored by personal, genuine motivation, you'll lose your spark sooner or later. You don't just need a routine. You need an idea deep inside that you'll carry even through the darkness and cold of doubt. Explain to yourself why this change matters to you. Strengthen your new habits, not because everyone does it or it's trendy, but because it's your path to personal freedom, health, results, self-respect. The clearer you feel what you're fighting for, the easier it is to push through fatigue, apathy, or inner resistance. This is your big reason, your engine, the one that keeps running even when outside motivation disappears. Another crucial piece is celebrating your micro wins. Most people wait for big achievements to allow themselves to feel happy, but your mind actually responds much more powerfully to small rewards. After every small win, take a break, give yourself a compliment, share your success with a friend. Your subconscious locks in the new habit as something valuable. This fuels your momentum and builds a chain of positive self-worth. Learn to notice the difference between acting on autopilot and acting with intention. Consciousness in every step, every choice, brings the joy and sense of control that come from your own growth. That feeling is the key to making sure your new routine doesn't become just another box to check, but stays a real tool for achieving your deepest goals. Remember, every small action that makes you better isn't just a minor thing, it's the foundation of a new life. If you learn to value this steady, honest effort, you'll break not just one but 1,000 of your own limits. The final part of this section is about discipline and flexibility, about true resilience in creating a new routine. Discipline isn't punishment and it isn't self-torture. It's a form of self-respect, the kind that lets every day work for you instead of against you. It's your inner agreement with yourself to do what matters, not just when you're in the mood, but always, regardless of feelings, fatigue, or outside circumstances. There's a temptation to swing to extremes, to obsessively control every detail and punish yourself for every little mistake, or to throw in the towel at the first failure, thinking it's all pointless. The right path is balance. Discipline shouldn't break you. It should build your foundation for growth, not new insecurities. It's the ability to be tough on yourself where it matters and gentle when it comes to humanity, acceptance, and forgiving your own weaknesses. Learn to adapt your rituals to real life. If today you can't run 5 miles, at least do some stretching. If you can't read 20 pages, read 5, but do it every day. The secret is in steady consistency, not in perfect performance. Change your mindset, not all or nothing, but always something for my growth. Keep your self-talk positive. When the voice in your head says, "You failed again," answer, "I'm on the path. I'm growing. I'm acting." Understanding that change is a process, not a single leap, keeps you moving forward even after a string of setbacks. Real strength is getting back to your routine after a slip, without excuses or self-sabotage. In the end, discipline is your freedom, not your prison. When routine becomes a part of who you are, you stop being a hostage to other people's expectations, temptations, or moods. You run your life instead of letting life run you. That's the greatest reward for your effort. Not just a new habit, but a new identity, where you are the author, not just an extra in someone else's story. For a new habit to truly change your life, you have to expand your vision, stop seeing yourself as someone who's just trying this out, and embrace your new identity. This is the real breakthrough. You're not playing the role of a disciplined person, you are one. It all begins with an inner declaration: I am no longer who I was yesterday. If that choice is real, you'll stop looking for excuses or back doors. Your routine isn't just an add-on to your old self, it's your transformation. Your internal identity is the strongest force for breaking old boundaries. If you keep telling yourself you're lazy, a failure, or inconsistent, you'll never hold on to a new habit even if you stick with it for weeks or months. Sooner or later, your subconscious will pull you back to your old program. That's why it's vital to change the words you use about yourself. Not "I'm trying to be someone who wakes up early," but "I am someone who gets up early." Not "maybe I'll manage to read every day," but "reading is my daily practice." Picture your new self vividly in detail, right down to how you walk, make decisions, face challenges, treat other people. The deeper you live out this image inside, the more your behavior will change in real life. Don't be afraid to imagine yourself at the top. That mental picture pulls your actions toward it. Your environment still plays a crucial role. If everyone around you sees you as the one who never finishes anything, be ready to meet resistance. But that resistance is your sign you've truly started to break through. Every day you stick with your new routine, you're not just acting, you're confirming your new self. Trust me, with time, even the staunchest skeptics will start to accept your changes as the new normal. First you work for your identity, then your identity works for you. The key factor in building this new identity is the principle of self-accountability, an honest, regular assessment of your own actions. This isn't about harsh control or constant self-criticism. It's about responsibility to yourself. Self-accountability is your personal tool for growth. It lets you see real progress, find weak points, and strengthen your strategy. Through regular analysis of small steps and decisions, you build the resilience to keep going, even after setbacks. Keep a change journal. Record not just what you did or didn't do, but your emotions, thoughts, temptations, inner wins and losses. When you see your actual progress on paper, you learn to analyze what worked and what needs adjustment. Don't be afraid to admit weakness or mistakes. They only become lessons when you face them honestly. A setback isn't a reason to devalue everything. It's a reason to adjust your approach. Set up checkpoints for yourself. Every Sunday, for example, review what you accomplished, where you faced the biggest resistance, and what breakthrough you made. Mark even the smallest progress. Don't let your mind erase your gains over one or two missteps. In the end, steady self-accountability is what keeps you on course during moments of doubt or apathy. Beyond your own self-checks, seek outside support. Find a person or a group where you can share your wins and struggles, a friend, mentor, even an online community or anonymous chat. The main thing is not to walk this path alone. Even a little bit of external accountability makes it easier to act and harder to slip back into old ways. Remember, the habit of being honest with yourself is the bedrock of any change. When your inner dialogue is based on transparency, not excuses, every day becomes a real step forward. Self-accountability doesn't steal your freedom, it gives it back, letting you build your life on reality, not illusions or wishful thinking. The next step in strengthening your new identity is to create a system of rewards and support that reinforces your efforts on a subconscious level. The human brain is hardwired to respond to reward. Even the smallest positive feedback makes a behavior stick. If you don't set up this system for yourself, old habits will quickly return, since they already come with built-in instant gratification. Build your own reward system. It can be simple: a favorite coffee after your morning workout, a walk in your favorite park after finishing a tough task, an evening with a book or movie only after you've done what you planned. Train your mind to enjoy progress, not just avoidance. Celebrate micro wins. If you stick to a ritual for a week, let yourself have a small joy. If you last a month, celebrate it in a special way. Support from like-minded people is even more powerful. When someone knows about your journey, when you have someone to share a small win or a moment of weakness with, you gain new energy and determination. Sometimes a single short talk with someone else pushing their own limits gives you more than weeks of struggling alone. Don't be afraid to ask for support. Don't think it's weakness. Real strength is being able to accept help when you truly need it. Don't confuse reward with indulging old weaknesses. Your reward system should support your path, not pull you back. So watch out that your treats don't become a new trap for procrastination or self-sabotage. Remember, there are no perfect people who always keep moving forward without setbacks. The winners are those who've built real systems of motivation, support, and reward that help them keep their focus and not give up during tough times. Build your own system and strengthen it daily, making your path to a new identity both rewarding and real. Now, let's talk about the biggest challenge for any new identity facing periods of crisis, doubt, and fatigue. There's no growth without setbacks. Every so often, a wave of apathy, discouragement, or self-doubt will hit. That's natural. And true strength is found not in always being on top, but in finding your way back to your habits, even when you're tired or uncertain. In tough times, your brain tries to drag you back to the past, to old, easy, but destructive rituals. Put it off until tomorrow. Let yourself skip just this once. Go for that short-lived pleasure again. If you're not careful, a few small slips can quickly become a chain that ties you up again. That's why the number one rule is never let slips become a pattern. Once is a fluke, but twice is the start of a new script that can drag you back to square one. Develop a return strategy for yourself, a list of simple actions to help you get back on track fast. This could be reading a favorite motivational text, talking with a friend, a quick workout, changing your environment, or reviewing your goals in your journal. Create a first aid ritual that acts instantly. Don't let yourself sink into self-blame or let a crisis stretch on for days or weeks. Know that a crisis isn't a sentence. It's a point of growth. It's in these moments that you test just how deeply you've adopted your new identity. If after a setback you can rise again, take a small step, you're already close to victory. This isn't just talk. Your biggest breakthroughs often come right after a fall, when you prove to yourself that you can keep going no matter what. Don't run from emotions. Accept them, but don't let them run you. Feel them, acknowledge them, but keep moving. Getting back on track after a crisis is your own lesson, your own experience, and it makes you stronger and more resilient. With each win in these moments, your new identity becomes tougher and more immune to temporary challenges. The last step here is consciously anchoring your new way of life through a personal philosophy of daily growth. Don't just adopt rituals, build an inner worldview based on this truth. There are no limits, only new frontiers. You don't stop at the first victory. You always look further, seek new challenges, never let yourself freeze, even in the zone of your new comfort. Real change doesn't happen once and for all. It's a cycle, a constant motion. You change, you reinforce, you grow, you see a new horizon. Every habit that becomes part of you isn't a ceiling, but the floor for your next level. This is the mindset that separates leaders and creators from the crowd who did it once and forgot. If you treat your routine as a launching pad for new achievements, your identity keeps evolving, growing stronger, never getting stuck in the past. Learn to enjoy the process of change itself, not just the result. Savor the opportunity to grow, to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to anyone else. This is your real game. Every day, a little more, a little better, a little more honest. That kind of inner philosophy won't let you relax or stop halfway, because you know that stopping here is the only real defeat, even if you're already miles ahead of those who never changed a thing. Create a growth manifesto for yourself, a few lines that remind you daily who you are and why this journey matters. Reread them in tough moments. Remind yourself, victory isn't a state, it's an action. This is your personal code, your support system for those tempting moments when you feel like going back. And finally, never forget, your personal philosophy is a magnet for new opportunities. A person who lives with an open heart for change attracts people, ideas, and experiences just like them. Change is always a team sport, even if your team comes together one step at a time. When your new identity is firmly rooted in your daily life, you face the ultimate test, keeping your focus and willpower strong for the long haul. This is where real endurance is forged. Many people can start with a bang, but only a rare few can hold the rhythm when the initial excitement fades, the first wins are behind them, and routine becomes background noise. In these moments, the temptation creeps in to ease up, give yourself a break, or lower your standards. That's normal, but it's also where the real danger lies. Your new habit can become just as lifeless and invisible as the ones you worked so hard to break. If you want to stay in a state of growth, you must learn to step beyond even your new routine from time to time. Add difficulty, seek out new challenges, raise the bar. Never let yourself get stuck. If waking up early and morning exercise are now easy for you, make the workouts harder, switch up your route, ramp up the intensity. If your habit is daily reading, move on to tougher books. Write a short summary after each chapter. If planning your day is routine, start planning your week, month, or even your year. Here's the secret. Your comfort zone moves right along with you. The moment something feels easy and automatic, that's your sign to level up. Don't lose momentum, turn your routine into a game where you keep raising the stakes. That's how you not only sustain change but turn it into a lifestyle that's always moving forward. In these moments, it's powerful to update your goals and values. Every month or so, pause and ask, what do I truly want right now? Have my priorities shifted? Is this habit still taking me where I want to go? Don't be afraid to change course. You're not required to repeat the same rituals for life, especially if they no longer match your nature or your values. Flexibility in your goals isn't weakness, it's maturity. Refreshing your aims keeps your energy and inspiration alive. New challenges are fresh fuel for your progress. A signal to your mind, I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. You need to keep hearing that call for growth inside you so you don't get lost in the everyday grind. Over time, you'll hit something that drains many adaptation and loss of meaning. Maybe you're proud of how you once broke through your limits, changed your life, but now the new routine feels dull. Motivation slips, even if you're still seeing results. Now comes a different challenge, finding a deeper meaning in what you do. At this stage, another secret to real growth opens up. Returning to your why. You have to ask yourself, again and again, why am I doing this? How is this habit changing me, not just on the outside but within? What have I discovered about myself? Without this kind of honest reflection, any habit risks becoming a hollow ritual, and that's when you slip right back into the old patterns. One of your most powerful tools here is personal reflection. Every month or more often if you can, take time alone to analyze not just your results, but your mindset, your self-image, and your relationships. Write down what you've discovered about yourself, which strengths have surfaced, what limitations remain, and what's behind them. This honest conversation with yourself is what keeps your habits meaningful and your growth alive, not just mechanical. Remember, if your old habit doesn't spark you anymore, that's not failure, that's your signal to upgrade. Let yourself experiment, try new activities, rearrange your routines, change your environment. Don't be afraid to drop habits that have lost their meaning and boldly introduce new ones. This is where true growth energy is born. You're not a robot, not a program. You're a living, changing, growing person. If you keep updating your sense of purpose, keep asking new questions, and never let yourself settle, your growth will never run dry, and your life will gain depth and genuine fulfillment. Very often, as you walk the path of change, you'll run into a big challenge, how to balance ambition with real life, where there's work, family, stress, and unexpected problems. Too many people try to build new habits in a vacuum, hoping the world will just adapt to their new pace. But life always has its own plans. Someone gets sick, work emergencies pop up, moods shift, plans change. True growth isn't about living by the clock. It's about flexibility, adaptability, and resilience. The real test is holding on to your routine when everything goes off the rails. You don't wait for perfect conditions and you don't give up at the first setback. Instead, you learn to fit your new habits into a life that's always moving. This is where real maturity is born. You're no longer a child who blames the world for every setback. You become a master of your own reality, someone who knows how to win no matter what the rules are. Flexibility means that if you can't run your 5 miles today, you walk 2 or do a quick workout at home. If you can't read, listen to an audiobook on your commute. If family matters cut into your usual ritual, move it to another time or break it into smaller parts. Don't betray yourself. Find ways to stay true to your purpose in any circumstance. Remember, there are no perfect days. Success isn't about how you perform when things are easy, but what you do when life goes off script. Your determination, your consistency, and your willingness to adapt are what make you the kind of person who can break through any limit. This isn't about a strict regime, it's about learning how to win in the middle of chaos. Make your new habit a living principle, not a rigid dogma, always finding a way to express itself. That's how you hold on to growth, satisfaction, and balance between change and real life. This is true maturity, the ability to create, not just survive, no matter what comes your way. Another crucial component of long-term success is building support, not just within yourself, but in your environment. Too often we underestimate the power of a community or a team of like-minded people who can lift you up, push you forward, and support you during doubt or fatigue. We're all social beings, and even the strongest people need encouragement, honest feedback, or just a kind word from time to time. Don't believe that change is just your own private battle. Yes, you have to take responsibility for your journey, but seeking out people who support your new routine isn't weakness, it's wisdom. This could be a sports club, a book group, a professional circle, an online community, or just a friend or loved one you agree to share your wins and struggles with. Support isn't just about approval. A true friend or partner will tell you honestly when you've lost focus or let weakness win, and help you see yourself from another angle. Likewise, when you help someone else stay on their path, you inevitably strengthen your own discipline. Support is a two-way street. Use the power of public commitment. When your new habit becomes a promise to someone else, not just a private experiment, your accountability and motivation multiply. It's a simple psychological trick, but it works. When you know someone's watching your progress, you're much less likely to quit halfway. Finally, be willing to invest in yourself, both in knowledge and in your network. Go to workshops, seek mentors, work with a coach or therapist if you feel stuck on your own. Success loves the company of strong, open, purpose-driven people. Your community is your protection, your resource, your accelerator on the road to breaking through your limits. A new stage begins, not so much about action, but about truly rethinking your journey, deeply integrating this new way of life into your very being. Now it's no longer about asking, can I stick to this routine? But rather, who have I become because of these changes? This is the moment of real maturity. You're no longer fighting yourself, no longer trying to prove something to the world. You start to feel inner harmony, a real faith in your own power. You're no longer the person you were at the start. Your identity has shifted, your vision has deepened, your boundaries have expanded. At this stage, another challenge arises. How do you keep your edge? How do you stop yourself from dissolving into routine, even when it's a positive one? It's easy to get proud of your progress, then slowly start to relax, slipping into a new comfort zone where there's no drive left, only the safety of stability. That's why true growth is a never-ending process, not a destination. The new philosophy of life means being willing to regularly update your goals, not being afraid of ambition, and never settling for what you've already achieved. Ask yourself the bold question, what else can I change? What new boundary am I ready to break? Sometimes this is not just about habits. It's about your principles, your values, your social circle, your job, or even where you choose to live. Don't be afraid to leave behind what's become comfortable if you feel it's time to move on. Your next step is to turn your experience of change into a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for others. On this level, you start to realize your personal journey, your battle with inner limits, your new habits, now holds deeper meaning. You're no longer just building your own success. You become a beacon for those who are still looking for the strength to take their first step. Always remember, your story, even if it seems small or invisible from the outside, can change someone's life. People aren't looking for perfect heroes, they're searching for someone real, someone who has battled doubt, felt exhaustion, fallen, and gotten back up. When you share not just your victories, but your struggles, fears, and weaknesses, you create a space of trust and inspiration for those around you. Don't be afraid to share your methods, your discoveries, even your mistakes. Learn to support others, to help them walk their own path of change more easily, more quickly, more confidently. When you see your habits, not just as a tool for personal growth, but as a way to serve others, your own motivation grows stronger, and your journey becomes truly meaningful. Cultivate generosity, not just in material things, but emotionally and spiritually. Offer a hand when someone falls, nudge them when they hesitate, celebrate their micro wins too. In this way, you're not just building your own legacy, you become a vital link in a chain of change that reaches far beyond your own life. Personal growth, without service to others, eventually becomes empty. But if your changes inspire, if they open up new horizons for others, you're truly breaking the old boundaries of the world around you. That's the highest level of impact and real inner freedom. At the finish line of great transformation, you come to a deep realization. Real freedom isn't about having no limits. It's about building your own rules. Rules that work in your favor. You don't need outside control anymore. You don't wait for approval. You don't look for excuses. All your strength is inside, in your discipline, in your habit of taking action, in your ability to be honest with yourself. And that's the greatest reward life can offer. Remember, no victory is ever once and for all. There will always be new challenges, new boundaries to break. But now, you're no longer afraid of the cycle, because you've learned to live in the flow of change, to thrive in the state of constant growth. Every new habit is another step toward a greater version of yourself, another brick in the foundation of self-respect, inner strength, and freedom from old fears and worn-out patterns. With time, you'll learn to value even the smallest changes, to spot progress where others see only routine, to find meaning in every action that makes you stronger. That means living, not by old rules, but by creating yourself anew every single day. Give yourself permission to become the author of your own story, a story that could become the spark for countless others still searching for their strength. Your limits are not a sentence. They're an invitation to a new life. Step beyond them and create new ones. That's the true meaning of maturity, real freedom, and genuine joy. Don't let yourself get stuck. Don't sell yourself short. Don't take the easy path of comfort. Your future is not an accident. It's something you build with your own hands through choices, through action, through the routines that force you to grow. Now, the moment has come when you can look back honestly and see the road you've traveled. Maybe you've battled more than one wave of doubt, stood at the edge, wanted to quit, delayed change, yet you always came back again and again. That willingness to return, to stand up every single time, that's the truest test of strength. Because a winner isn't the one who never falls, but the one who isn't afraid to get up and keep going, no matter the pain, the fatigue, the skepticism of others. Now you see it. Your new routine is not a burden, not self-punishment, but a space where you become free. It's your personal choice, your anchor in a world of uncertainty, your beacon in the chaos. Today, you are someone who doesn't wait, doesn't make excuses, doesn't hope for perfect circumstances. You act. You don't ask permission to change, you make those changes. And even if there's still a long way to go, you've already proved to yourself limits exist only until the moment you decide to break them. Your example, that's what makes your strength real for others. Your children, your partner, your colleagues, your friends, even strangers. Everyone notices when you're genuine, when your actions match your words, when your habit of change becomes your second nature. Don't stop. Keep breaking your boundaries. Create new rituals. Don't let yourself become a prisoner of old comfort again. In this forward movement, in daily actions, in new habits, that's where your true freedom and your calling live. Your routine is your revolution. Act, create, grow. The world is waiting for you to become the person you've always dreamed you could be. And here is the finish. Now it's your turn. Step beyond the boundaries you once set for yourself, and prove that your strength is greater than any habit, greater than any fear. This isn't just a new chapter, it's your new story, and you write it every single day.